Hello and welcome to Hang Out with Ashwari, and we're gonna go right into today's business. Just before we get into the business, as our custom is, we're gonna talk about what's in my cup. And in my cup, I have water and lime. Water is very good, as we have heard time and time again. And today, I'm talking about one benefit, and one benefit of water is that it lubricates your joint. And lime is very good for your skin. It rejuvenates your skin. All right, I'm going to take a sip and we will go into it. In today's video, I have an exciting topic to talk about. We're going to be talking about it, not just me. I'm talking about it with my cousin. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Hang Out with Oshwari, Ohis Ohiaria, all the way from Delta State in Nigeria. Agreeing to do this. Thank you so much for your willingness, your patience. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
To thank God.
All
Glad to
right.
be here.
Thank you. All right. You're going to tell us a little about yourself, or as much as you want to tell us about yourself. Let's start with that.
All right, my name is Ohiozoji Ohiorenoya. A pastor, I'm a father, I'm a husband. I'm also an IT and media consultant. So I also run a studio and manage some clients, IT clients, build websites and all that. So that's basically my day to day pastoring, dealing with people, my business and all that. So it's a whole lot. But
Yeah,
we're
he
good.
did a lot of being a dad too, and a husband.
Yes.
Nice. Again, thank you so much for joining. All right. In today's video, let me introduce the topic why you're here. We're talking about the choices or decisions that parents make in schooling their children, and we're going to focus on boarding school. Now I have my own experience, and thankfully you have your own experience, and that's why we're both here. So we want to see how we can help parents make good decisions, and so so parents, I know they will. I mean, they
Yeah.
want to know how to go about it, and they will benefit from this. All right. Personally, let me say a little about my own story, then I'll let you talk. I remember when I was in primary six, no, primary five actually. I took some common entrance exams, and then at some point, I can't remember what the result was then, but I know my mom was telling me about the school, the boarding school that I have to attend. I was so excited. Every time we talked about it, I was very happy. I was looking forward to it. And I remember we actually had to leave. I lived in a town, not a village. I won't call it a village, but it was a town. I remember we left the village to a bigger city to go shop for school and all that. Bought some new things, and it was time to go.
Always exciting.
Say that again.
I said
Yeah.
it's always exciting. You have
Yeah,
your own box, you have
see,
your own provisions,
never
you have your
forget.
own stuff.
As I'm talking about it now, I'm remembering a lot of things. So I remember the very first day, the very first morning, the night and then the morning. So we were woken up early. They woke us up very early to get ready and all that. And after we got ready, we had a knock on our door. Like that was my very first experience. I think it was a hostel teacher then, or hostel master, body house master, what they call him. And he told us to wake up, and we need to come and clean up outside and all that. Yeah, that was not what I expected. That was a real shocker to me. So yeah, so that's basically my first experience, the first day, and then of course the setup, the dorm, we had to share our rooms with people. We had double decker bed.
Bob,
Yeah, so we had that, and then the food. I wasn't very picky, thankfully, except that I didn't like pap. So they were dealing with akara, and that's bean cake. We call it, I think, bean cake. It's made out of bean.
yeah.
Yeah, but the pap I did not like. So then I'll have to buy bread and all that. So I think I said a lot. So let me tell us about your own experience. Let's talk a little bit about.
Okay. Yeah. It's when I just think back about my experience in boarding school. I'd actually started off like I think the first term
Mhm.
in a school. I grew up in Warren,
Yeah.
so I'd already started off my first term here. Yeah, I can't remember which particular school here right now, but I'd already started off. And while in the middle of the term, my parents just said like we're traveling, we're going to a school, a federal government college.
Okay.
Okay. Uh, Start packing box, buy provisions and all that. They've never been to the place before.
Oh.
As at then, I've never even been to a place like Lagos. So when I hear Lagos, it sounded like abroad to me. So they said, "Oh, we are going to Osun State,"
Okay.
and they don't know the way there, so they had to get somebody that will drive them to the place.
Oh wow.
And it was an 8 hour journey.
Ooh. Oh wow.
Okay, yeah, 8 hour journey away from home, and that was the farthest I would have ever been from home at the time.
Mm.
And I think we got in late, so I think we had to stay in the hotel overnight. Then the next morning, we had to now go to the school, got me in, did all that they needed to do to get me settled in. But I can remember we were the third set then. The place was so bushy. I think the school was the former what they call a teachers training school.
Okay.
So the buildings were looking kind of a bit of old. Like I said, where the third set was a federal government college,
Mm-hmm.
and the first shock I received was I was hearing a lot of Yoruba around. The only thing I knew about Yoruba people was uh, the major tribes in Nigeria are Yoruba, Igbo, Hausa.
That was it.
We used to see a lot of Hausas around, yes, because they do a lot of the minion guys. They love the
Yeah.
traders who knew them as Igbo guys, but
Mm-hmm.
not so much of the Yoruba. So when I got there, the first shocker was everybody was just saying Yoruba. I said, "What is this thing?" At least the thing that I could easily relate to was pidgin, but I didn't hear it quickly.
Yeah, you're coming from
So
worry.
my parents told
That's
me,
understandable.
yes, my parents told me bye bye, and well, first day no problem because I was used to always going because I grew up as a church boy, so I was always going out of the house on my own, crossing the street on my own. So I was already used and being out of the house as early
Okay.
as 11 years old. So the first day didn't make so much sense. I was just excited to be out of home as usual.
Hmm.
And I think that first night they told us. I think I heard a bell because I got in the evening. I heard a bell. Oh, it's time for dinner. Okay. I went to the dining hall. Oh, this is where JSS1 sits and all that. And the first food that was presented to me was what you call in Yoruba eko and efo. Never
Oh,
seen it, never heard of it before. What you call your pap, but it's solidified. And the efo is called vegetable. There is
yeah.
no meat. It's you see the stalk of the vegetable, and it's
There was
more
no
of
meat.
water than meat care. There was no meat inside.
Not fish and meat
So
on
huh,
this.
I was looking at the foods like, what's this?
Especially where you're coming
Okay, let
from.
me just try it. I've never eaten it before then.
Yeah.
But well, hunger, that was my reality.com. I had to eat it, try it, just to make sure I tell myself that I'm not more at home. So I had to eat it. Like I saw every other person doing. So
Oh, so you're
that was
watching
my
the
first
man on the go.
reality.com. Yes, I heard you hear some people saying you're bad. And it was not so it was I think that thing was close to weekend, if I can't remember very clearly.
Say that again.
Got accustomed. I think that's for us to eat that food. That means I came in likely on a Friday or Saturday because that meal was usually for for weekends,
Oh,
Saturday
oh
evenings.
yeah, I remember
So
we had
very
a
likely I came in
timetable.
to school. Yeah, yeah. The best time for most of us brothers then was rice
I can
and
see you.
egg.
Oh, okay.
Sunday afternoon, nobody misses that meal. You can even fight over that meal. Rice and egg.
Yeah, I kept
The other one I used to enjoy. I used to enjoy nobody rushes over is beans. I used to
oh,
enjoy a lot of beans in
yeah.
body school.
People did not like this. That's true.
People don't
I,
rush for that.
yeah,
Yeah, people don't rush for that, but
yeah.
I enjoy beans, so
Mhm.
I had a feel of beans a lot.
Yeah.
I wouldn't get angry when I don't eat rice and egg, but I can get angry if I miss my beans. So it was kind of give and take.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, it was for me. It was interesting. It was reality.com, and one major thing that happened was for that first term, I got to know what they call visiting day. I didn't even know what it was.
What was that?
Visiting day. So we got out
Oh,
that day.
visiting you.
Visiting day. I saw parents coming in. Oh, what is happening? Oh, there's the phrase they use. That's when your parents come for you.
Yeah.
Okay, my parents come for me. Like, are they taking me home? So that day, oh, some people bring in coolers of food, bring in.
Yeah.
There was no cell then, no mobile phone. So I couldn't call my parents to ask them whether they were coming or find out whether they were coming. That was my first time and first experience of visiting day. And that day passed and nobody came. I knew I am on my own.
Well, this is fun.
Uh, so I just I just made friends and people that had overload of food. You carry your spoon and just enjoy yourself and just make friends and in short
Oh,
you eat and be tired that particular day. So uh, a lot of the shockers I received, I think I just basically, especially when you know these days, any little thing you can easily pick up the phone and call.
yeah.
Then there was nothing like that, and I
That's
was 8 hours away. And even if I wanted to call, we didn't have a landline at home,
mm.
so
Oh,
it
yeah.
was probably like from GS3 that I knew that okay, I could take an exit pass, go to town, use this Nitel card, I would call it then. You pay
Okay.
for the units. I will call one of my dad's friends. My
Oh,
dad's friends will now relay the message, and I
oh.
don't know get the feedback.
Until you see them.
So there was a particular experience I had. Yeah, there was a particular experience I had. I ran out of provisions at the time. I wrote a letter. I did a lot of letter writing that time. A part of what you will learn by being a border, a lot of
Mm.
letter writing. So I wrote a letter and I posted it to my parents. I think it was like not towards. I think it's to go for meeting. I can't travel 8 hours, then be
Wow.
coming back again. So like
Wow.
if I resume till the end of the term. So I had a guardian there that my parents we got to know there. So I didn't know anybody from
Mm.
anywhere. So I wrote that letter, no response, no feedback. It's when I went home after the holiday, I
What?
went to the post office to pick that letter by myself.
Ah, my goodness.
So
Wow.
funny experiences.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was challenging. I learned a lot and thank God we're better off.
Yeah. So as you were talking, I was remembering some things because you were 8 hours away. I was like 30 minutes away from home. So
30. You're
yeah,
not a body house now, you're closer.
yeah. So let me even give you my own story. Now about the food, like you said, Sunday was special because it was rice and then I think there was beef. So normally we will eat fish, I believe, fried fish. But Sunday was special, which
Okay.
yeah. So I remember then some people that did not like certain food, they'll sell the food and use another food to get another food, depending on what they like. I remember then. So some people on Sunday with that rice, they will have a lot of rice because they're giving out their akara to other people and akamu, and things like that. And then something I remembered was that I was my mom's last born, so we were very close. So, and they used to, my school were the second set. So they used to come to Afuze. Afuze was where the school was. Okay. Afuze was where the school was, and we were living in Hirewe. So that's like, I think it should be about 30 minutes, at most 1 hour. So they always had business because they were teachers. They used to come to the Ministry of Education in Afuze. So they always had business. So the day school students would tell me that my mom is around. Oh, I saw your mom's car. I'll literally leave school and run and find them. I'll start crying.
Your enjoyment was plenty.
So when you were saying 8 hours, no, mine wasn't like that. I mean, there were some weekends that they came a lot of they came weekends, brought food, I write letter. There was a teacher. My dad was a principal in his school then. So there was a teacher in my boarding school that was the proprietor's, mine was a private school, the proprietor's younger brother. So the proprietor's younger brother worked under my dad. So I could send letters through him to my dad because he was my dad's staff. So that was So mine was pretty easy. Now that I'm hearing yours, I'm feeling for you. Oh wow, that was some experience. And again, mine wasn't. It didn't take 1 year and a half. I wasn't there all through GSS2. I started at the beginning of GSS1.
I spent 6 years.
Wow.
GSS1 to SS3.
My goodness. You
I became quite popular.
Oh,
I became quite popular. I joined a lot of. I began to understand Yoruba. I became a prefect. I became the head of the fellowship in school.
Oh, wow.
I became the head of the Jets Club, and I was traveling around for literary and debating clubs and all that. So I was quite involved in school, and I made a lot of friends. I just knew that, boy, you're not going anywhere. This is where you are. So I just settled my life and got involved.
You started to enjoy.
Yeah, and I learned. Yeah, I learned a lot because you meet different kinds of people.
That's right.
And one of the things that helped me before I left home was I had a very good Christian background. I was already allowed to make decisions and corrected on time. So when I went to school and was very far away from my parents, they definitely will not know what is happening to me, or nobody will call them or this. So, but I was at that point able to make my decisions on time. Being in a federal government college was rough. You see the good, the bad, the ugly. Yeah, you see different kind of things. There are some things that you'll be imagining what is happening. So you just want to stay away from trouble. There are sometimes that you find yourself in trouble, you cannot escape it. There are sometimes that somebody else does something and it affects everybody. So those days, there are days like that. So there are days you get to the dining hall and you hear consume. Consume means that some people have got into the dining hall and the teacher in charge in the dining hall says, consume everything in the bowl. That means anybody that comes after them does not find anything to eat.
That is wrong.
So we had such situation that you can get to the, you can know it was a very rugged life. That is true. And one of the things that has helped me is right now, what helped me, or the impact of being in the body house, it helped me to be able to relate to people across boards. Whether Muslim or Christian. Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna get there.
Okay. Let me hold it.
Yes. So we're gonna focus on that. So I think basically we started with what we how we got in there and all that. So, and what I liked about mine was, I know you mentioned the date. That's the friends that were able to make. It was like a
Yes.
community to me. I believe it was like a community of people. And we ate each other's food, like this provision you mentioned, whatever we brought.
Oh,
Some,
very well.
yeah.
And they stole some of yours. They stole some of mine a lot.
I think
Ah, very well.
I've had my luck there. You couldn't get to my stuff, but let's break it. Like you said, it
Ah,
was
you
maybe there were
know,
different set of people than we had. My people were not that, they were not bad. I was the second set in my school then, and yeah. So yeah, so
you
that was,
fetch
say that
water.
again.
I said you fetch your water. They steal the water. They steal the water. They steal the
Oh,
buckets. The
that's true.
school uniforms.
We fight
No
them.
crazy things. Crazy things used to happen.
Yeah. Wow, what a life. Yeah, so that was my best part, the friendship and the people I had to meet and all that. So for you, what would you say was your best part of boarding school, and what has it taught you now? Because obviously,
Eh?
looks like you learned some things that you are using right now.
Oh yes, yes. One of the things that boarding school built into me was having a structure to your life.
Mm,
In boarding house, there's a structure and there's a time for everything.
mm,
There's a time to go to class. There's a time to read. There's a time. There's the free time, which is not unlimited. All right. There's also guide to the time. So that has helped me. I am quite with a lot of responsibilities that I carry and all that. I'm able to balance myself and
mm,
still make out time for family, make out time for this, make out time for that, and still be successful in the different areas. Because whether you like it or not, that's how life is. You must learn how to structure yourself and structure life,
yeah.
manage your time. Because managing your time is actually managing your life,
Mm-hmm.
and so that's one of the things that that's really the experience going through. Then another thing was because I had to get into a community where I didn't really know anybody. Number one, as in, you know, there's a transition of the people that you knew in primary school. You are likely to go to secondary school if you are in
Yeah,
the same environment,
that's
you're in
true.
the same city. But now this is 8 hours. This is 8 hours away from home. I didn't see one soul that I knew from primary school. So now I have a primary school alumni group. I virtually don't know anybody there
Mm,
because for I was totally cut off for almost 12 years. Some many of you still know themselves, but for me, I would just say that I was away for 12 years. And when I count the 12 years, I count secondary school,
and
and
college.
I count secondary school, I count university.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know most of you guys. I was virtually out of this place. So, but one of the things I learned was I today anywhere I go, and I've been to a lot of places, traveled around. I'm able to connect with people
Okay.
easily, and I'm able to. One of the things I've learned is to keep friendships. All right, so I'm right now in Nigeria. I can virtually travel anywhere in Nigeria, and I have somebody that can easily call up and say, "Oh, I'm in your city," and all that and everything. And all those were
Wow.
relationships that were built up from secondary school, from college, and all that. So the experience was from the secondary school, getting to know people, whether they were of the same faith as mine, relate with them, uh, whether they are the same tribe or not, learn to relate with them, enjoy them, fight. We had a lot of fights then, but later on,
You settle.
we got to understand ourselves. Yeah, we got to understand ourselves. Yeah, make adjustments and live as one. Yeah, so it was. we had a lot of issues. I tried because it was the where it was, like I said, it was the bush. Sometimes we had water crisis.
Oh.
So I learned how to bathe with very small quantity of water and bathe very fast. All right. So so it teaches you how to manage the little. So rather than complain that, oh, this thing is too small, you better, nobody's coming for you. Just make sure you enjoy that little that you have. Make sure you protect that little that you have. There are sometimes you put your clothes outside and somebody wants to go and pick it up and use it, and you are looking for it. So it gave me responsibility that whatever is my own, I must learn how to take care of it. But in secondary school, I also learned how to wash my clothes. They're what we call towel dry. We put inside the towel and the towel to dry it and just spread it close to where you sit if you still want to see your uniform. Because
Oh
if you made the mistake to spread it outside, it belonged to somebody else.
my goodness. Wow.
So we had a lot of experience. You just have to learn how to
Yeah.
survive. That's what
Yeah.
I mean. Learn how to survive because, like I said, there is the good, there is the bad, there is the ugly. And one of the things that helped me too was immediately I got into school, I just identified that I was a Christian. I was not a nominal person. I just
Mm.
identified I was a Christian. So people started coming, like you just start see your tribe, kind of people that believe in what you believe in
Mm.
and profess what you. So it also helps on time. And that's what I do. Anywhere I go to, I don't try to pretend this is who I am. This is who I am and all that. So let's start from there. I'm not trying
Right.
to hide myself and all that and everything. I'm a Christian. I'm a Christian. This is what I believe. This is my value. Let's start from there.
I'll be
So it
around.
just helps you to just create like a foundation, yes, for you to and takes off the stress like pretending and all that. There's no time for that. Let's
Hmm.
just keep living life forward.
Awesome. Awesome. So that's the good part. So personally, I mean, I'm grown now. I have my children, and I've always said to myself that I would never allow them go to boarding school. And some parents still take their yeah, some parents still take their children to boarding school. I like the independent part. I understand. Yeah, that is, and that's what a lot of people talk about. My eldest brother was in boarding school too. That's what he talks about. And then the friendship. He still has friends from boarding school to date that he made. And they still talk, and
Yeah,
yeah, the connection is still there, which is awesome. But the part that makes me skeptical is now you are there. Like on your own, you said on your part, you said you already made that decision. I mean, you identified as a Christian, which is great. I mean, me, I was attending SU at school. Now, there was also what they called social gathering. I think that was done Saturday night. I don't know if you did that in your school, where they'll be playing
yeah,
one,
I remember.
yeah,
Yeah,
one
very well.
music, and they'll be dancing and all
Yeah,
that.
very well.
So that's literally like a
That's the
party.
time you get to watch TV.
Okay, so that's like party
Yeah,
that I really would not allow my child go to normally. I'm an 11-year-old in a party. But then I walk there, I stand. Then I wasn't bold to go to the middle. First of all, I had a shy personality, but sometimes I'll just go there and I'll be shaking my body and dancing, and all that. I mean, was I feeling that I was wrong? I remember one situation I remember, or one scenario I remember, but now was that one guy, one of these scripture union member, then will come to us and just be, preaching while people are, at that place doing their social gathering and all that, telling the people that this is wrong, this is wrong and this is wrong. And then it was then occurred to me, oh, this is actually wrong. So things like that, right? And I still tell myself today that because like I mentioned earlier, I left at the first semester because my parents now retired. Oh no, my dad retired, and then they moved to their house in Afuze. So if they are in Afuze, why would I still be in boarding school where they are? So that was when I moved. And in fact, I just started schooling from home. So when I look back now and I
you were
see,
saved from the house.
Yeah, I was saved from body house, really. That really, I think I always say God loves me and he orchestrated my life like in his own way. Because I'm feeling that if I was still there, because while I was in schooling from home, I saw what was now going on in boarding school and with the people I left there. Would I have been influenced? I don't know. I can't say for sure that I would not have been influenced by them because then I didn't have the strong foundation. What I am now is different from what I was then. So that's GSS 1, GSS 2. I don't know if I was strong enough to say no to bad things. But I'm glad I left that time I left. And also children, the Bible says to train up a child in the way they should go. And some children they need more training before they are let out. That's my opinion. I mean, because if they are trained, then he send them out at university level. I mean, they are older, they have learned more, unlike 10-year-old, 11-year-old. And that's my own. So that's the part I'm very skeptical on. I'm like, no, my children will never go to boarding school. No. But in your own case, what do you think? Do you think it's just all rosy? It's okay to just let your children go to boarding school, or you think they'll be safe at home? I mean, with you raising them, what do you think?
Okay. I think you see whether we like it or not,
Mm,
our children will definitely leave the house one day, and
okay.
so training does not the urgency of the training doesn't actually start when they're about to start. It's the urgency of the training starts while they are with you.
Mm-hmm.
So those years when 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, let's say for like uh, 5, 6 years, 5, 6 years, you have the opportunity to invest in them, or you need to invest in them because, like I said, I left home at 11,
Okay.
leaving home at 11. I when I look back now, I wouldn't say I really understood everything that was going on around me, but at least one thing I was sure was that I was already born again. I'd already received the baptism of the Holy Spirit. Um, I was, like I said, I was a church boy, so I was already interested in anything church and all that and everything. So, one of going, I don't know, boarding schools these days, there are a lot of boarding schools now. Then we did have, you had people were going to more federal government colleges. I don't know. We have a lot of boarding schools now, private boarding schools now, and many times it depends on how it is run. Like I said, even though being a federal government college was quite tough and rough, but then we still you were talking about social party, this social what I don't know what they call it, social nights. I think that's what they call it then,
Social life.
social night or something like that. Yes, we used to have it, but I chose not to go. I think maybe once or twice where I just go. There were the days where they are playing football. There was some day I think they did this. I can't remember one match, one popular match like that. Was it that Nigeria was playing a competition in this the late 90s? I can't remember the match, but
Yes.
we were
Yes.
there, we were watching from school.
Okay.
Yeah, so uh, yeah, so some of the social nights were football, some of the social nights were movies. It was not all dancing.
Okay.
So and me, I didn't know how to dance. I was not interested in the dancing. All these boyfriend girlfriends,
Yeah.
it was strange to my ear. Like what did they used to use boyfriend and girlfriend to do? Like so those things, there's more awareness these days. Even children as early as 3, 4, they are talking of boyfriend, girlfriend. Yeah,
Mm,
as a secondary school, just one, just two, with things to when you hear it, it will be what
strange.
is that? What does it mean?
That's
You
right.
understand that kind of thing. Probably it's being naive or something. So, but like I said, things have changed. But I will still look at the good side. If you have done your work as a parent, you should release yourself of that fear, because it's actually a fear. What if? What if? What if? But what if not? Because one day that child will still leave your house. All right. My wife has mentioned before that, oh, I'm not sure she will allow, because she didn't go to boarding house. I went to the boarding house, and I don't. The only thing that you just have to find a school that has the right balance. Is finding the school that has the right balance. I don't know if federal government colleges are still doing as well as they used to do before.
I wouldn't think
Because then
so.
you didn't have phone that you be distracting you. Yeah, you didn't have phones that were causing distractions. You had to learn how to write letters. So we learned the art of actually writing properly. For me, boarding house helps a lot to create a kind of independence, take care of yourself when your parents are not there, your mom's kitchen to a restaurant. Like, oh, I don't feel like eating this thing. I feel like eating this thing. When you're in boarding house,
No,
you will learn to eat what you see.
that's right.
You don't run you don't say, I don't feel like eating this thing.
I
You must eat what is available. So I learned to eat different kind of stuff. So it creates a kind of ruggedity that life requires. It creates a kind of balance for me that life requires. And when you see them go back and forth, and if you had a relationship with your children, able to interact, able to ask them questions. At a point, after me, none of my other siblings went that far. So when I noticed they were not going as far as me, I now felt like, oh, did I do something wrong that my parents had to throw me that far away from home? Those are the questions I have to ask myself at the time. Like, what did I do? Because my sister was just like 2 hours away from my younger sister was 2 hours away from home. My second sister was, I think she was going from home. My brother, the house was, in short, if you just throw a stone, the boarding house was just across. So for me,
would
that was
love
8 hours.
more.
I felt like, I don't even know. Probably my parents hated me. That's why they threw me that far. Uh, but you know, when I got into university, when I got into college or university, I stayed with a family. I had them known from Adam, but
You were
their
family.
son was my schoolmates.
Okay.
So when my parents took me to drop me in the university, I had known that one of my friends, the parents were lecturers in the school. They were the ones, they never knew me from person I knew was their son.
Oh,
And that's if we were really close like that in secondary school, but we knew ourselves. And they accepted me into their home. I stayed with them for 2 years before I got a place in the hostel.
mm.
So yeah, so those are the kind of relationships that today we're still very good friends, good family friends, and that. So a boarding house for me at in my time, and that's quite. I got into boarding house in 1996, finished in 2001 or 2002. And for me, at my time, I would say that it was truly, truly helpful. Um, Parents just need to do their diligence to check out the kind of schools, the reviews from parents that have already allowed their children to go through the boarding houses. It just it will help the children create a structure, keep them away from their parents, help them to just develop a life outside home. All right. And if they are being infused with the right values, see how they are living out their values when they come back. Because whether you like it or not, even when they have done their teenage age with you, they will still go to college, they will still go to university. So um, at that point, some things are already formed.
Yeah,
And if you didn't discover it on time, you've already lost them.
that's true.
So it's actually doing your due diligence and moreover being prayerful. being prayerful. I can say that yeah, I was away from home. I didn't enjoy the usual things. I would enjoy being far away from home. But I would say that I thank God that I actually went to the school I went to, because I was able to, let me put it this way, survive through the kind of thing, the time, because we're the swampy area. So if you go and dig the swamp a bit, you'll be able to get some water out of that and use to do whatever you want to do, whether to bathe and all that. So it was really a rugged. I tell people, I said, if I didn't die at that time, no, not those
Nothing.
small things cannot kill me again.
My goodness. Wow. That is nice. Yeah. So
uh,
that is very nice. I agree with you. But one thing about you that parents have to take note of is that you were ready. Like you said, you gave your life to Christ, and you already had the baptism of the Holy Ghost. So the Spirit of God was in you at that time.
yeah,
When you were making decisions, you were not alone. God was leading you, to make those decisions, and you knew
yeah,
what
true.
to do at that point. So you cannot just. So I think what I gather from that is that you cannot just throw your children
Just
out.
where you will make your mistakes. Like I said, my first 2 years in boarding house, definitely we had bullies. And where I was coming from, the first you don't waste time. You set blow and began to fight. Yes, I was born again and all that, but some people just want to how would I call it now? Vex you. Like they just want to look for trouble. I know that secondary school, I actually used to fight a lot. But I remember in my JS2, there was somebody that while I was fighting with him, I held him at the throat. He was no more breathing well. The best
Ooh,
way is when there's anybody vexing you, just walk away. So that day, no matter who, because when I saw someone that was close to death, I just walked away. I said, no, 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 no. I will not kill
if I
somebody.
see you don't look like someone that ever fought. What?
So I did though. I fought a lot
Touch
though.
you away.
I fought a lot. Some of them was I would say sometimes some of them were welled up anger. Sometimes they are speaking
They are not
Yoruba
what?
that you
And
don't
you
even
put
understand,
them.
and you know that they're actually abusing you.
Oh, you're about to do that.
And they'll tell you, you're worried boy, and you want to show yourself. So that kind of this
Not
is
just
who
your
you are too.
yeah language. Yeah. So I see.
Yeah. So just
Okay.
there.
All right. So I think you already answered the next question because you actually said that times have changed. So if we're comparing now and then. I don't know. So
Yeah.
I think you answered that part. We parents need to look at the school that they want to take their children to, and then the reviews from other
Very
parents.
important.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
We've heard a lot of stories too about things that happen in boarding school.
Ask questions. You must ask questions. You must ask questions. You must definitely these days you hear that okay there are Christian uh, boarding
Boarding
house, that's Christian schools.
school, yeah.
Um, yeah, I think the more structure a boarding house is, the better. So when I mean the more structured, like I said, then we didn't really have live-in teachers, like teachers who live in around us. They were in their staff quarters.
Mm-hmm.
We had prefects that were responsible for the students.
Okay.
Uh, but I don't know, the children that see these days are so young. You see them as at they are still looking so young that they are afraid if
That's right.
they are ready to go up to college or to university. They
Mm.
are quite young. But when as at our time, when you see somebody in the SS2, SS3, The person could also look almost looking like a married man, like he's ready to, he's looking very mature, he's making mature decisions and all that, and you give them their respect. So like I said, times have changed. Do your due diligence, make check out reviews, do it prayerfully. If you feel uh, probably your schedule. So let me give you a typical example. Father, mother is working these days, and you don't have enough time to check on your children and follow up on your children. If you have done the work early on, try them out in boarding school, see how they cope. Don't be like me that, oh, I was left with this. Yeah, there were some times that my parents came, but it went, that means they had to make a lot of sacrifices to show up. That means they had to travel all the way,
8 hours.
8 hours. They will have to book hotels. Yeah, they will have to book hotel. They will have to. So it was a whole lot. So it's when you're grown up and when you're a parent, you understand. It's now understand that they really have to make a lot of sacrifices to come all that way, and also the risks involved traveling all that way. So what I would say is, like I said, do your due diligence, do your work while they are younger. Send them. You can send them out and follow up with them closely. These days, mobile phone has made it quite easy. All right,
That's
follow
right.
them with up closely. One of the things I know, or two things that body has is that whether you like it or not, it creates a routine structure for the children. You can't just do anytime. You can't just do anything you like at any time.
That's right.
Number two is that you learn to live with people that you did not grow up with. So you learn to live with different kind of people, and you learn to take care of yourself and take care of your team. Sometimes you're assisting your children, taking your bath. No, nobody will remind you in body house whether you have taken your bath or not.
Mm.
The best you will do is what you call rub and shine. If you don't have water to bathe, take go and look for water and either put your towel inside the water and rub yourself, clean your essential parts, and wear your uniform and go. There were people that don't used to bathe when in secondary school then. They were too lazy. They didn't want to go and fetch water and all that. So they were used to rub and shine. Then as a student, then what are you buying perfume for? What are you don't remember there's perfume. So you have your natural body odor coming back. So imagine those that were doing rub and shine regularly. It was terrible.
Oh my goodness. I
Uh,
can imagine.
so yeah, it's an experience. Yeah, it's an experience. So for us parents, we can give our children that experience early on, see how they cope. Like I remember, I think it was younger brother,
Mm.
my younger brother. I think at the time he started boarding house, but he had to come back home. Then when it was senior, he now went back his senior class.
Oh.
So yeah, you can just parent
Yes.
parenting is parenting. There's nobody that is an expert
That's
in
right.
parenting. Everybody's learning along the way.
That's the goal. That's
Everybody's learning along the way. So there are some things that you must not do things out of fear. You must do things because you are learning along the way. So have we tried this? Let's try. Let's see what comes out of it.
mm,
And definitely being prayerful. You we always trust that our children will turn out well.
nice. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, wherever they are, even though they are inside your house, they still need to be trained and watched, right? So yeah. And did you have any other thing to say? Okay. Yeah. And did you have any other thing? Because I think that's all my questions for you. We've been. Did you have any other thoughts? Any other thing that you were not able to say
All
that?
right. So yeah, I pretty shared my experience. Like I said, it was I had the good days, I had the bad days. I remember one of the days where I think I was myself and a friend. I think it was just one of the breaks after school stuff. We're playing with his friends. I mean, I was outside kicking the door, so that kind of play and all that.
Hmm.
And the teacher caught us, and the beating I got that day, I never received it in my life. I was bleeding on my back.
You were doing
That they
what?
even had to carry me to the principal of the school.
What were you do? What did you do?
We're playing with a saw. So like there was someone, someone is hitting. We're playing with the school, the class door, the classroom door.
Door.
We're playing with a classroom door. So one of my friends, yeah, door.
Oh wow. Okay.
So someone was hitting the door from inside. I was hitting the inside. Yeah, so it's like playing with school property. So
Oh
we were flogged mercilessly.
wow.
I don't know. I guess that teacher that day had probably an issue from somewhere else. I don't think the way he flogged me that day, I have problem. But
Wow.
the energy that he used to flog me, I knew that man was just angry at something else, not me.
Mm,
Because all my whites, because my uniform was white then, was stained with blood from my back.
wow.
Um, yeah, I also remember a situation where I was critically ill. Critically ill. Like I said, you can't you can't call your parents. How do you want to reach out to them?
Mm.
I was critically ill. I think I had a chicken pox then. I had
Oh,
chicken pox. Um, it was really scary. Yeah, it was really scary.
damn, this tough.
So I survived. I think I was in the hospital for like close to close to 2 weeks. I can't remember why parents came. I think they got to find out later.
Wow.
Uh, so what I was just trying to say is that some of the things I had to do helped me as an individual because you're not necessarily waiting for somebody to
Mm,
come from somewhere to save you, and it
mm,
just built a kind of a not independent mindset. I will call it an interdependent mindset. When I say interdependent mindset, is that you must learn to depend on the people, all right, why you know that you're actually on your own. And
mm.
that's why I call it interdependence because your family is not there. You're not used to the people around, but you must learn to build a relationship with the people around you. So it was interesting. I did well in my studies, very well, did very well, came out with good results in my WAEC and NECO then, and it's always a joy. It's always a joy when every time I remember secondary school, and probably I will still finish up the discussion with my wife. Uh, I will still I will still want my children to try out a boarding house
Oh wow.
when the time comes.
Okay. Yeah. So thank you so
Yeah,
much. And I think I will basically what we're taking out today is that don't take them out or don't send them out without the foundation. You have to. I mean, as Christians, we know what the Bible tells
yeah,
us to train them up in the way they should go. So that's our responsibility. And again, I mean, parents, you've heard me say
yeah.
what I said, you've heard what he has said. So it's on you to make your decisions prayerfully, like he also said. And thank you so much for joining. Ohis, thank you very much. Your willingness and patience, I don't know, I cannot repay you.
Thank you. Really appreciate this.
Yeah. And bye.
Thank you so much, and
Thank you
enjoy the session.
so much.